Alright guys, well I'm working on another video, but that's going to be kind of a big month-long project, and I wanted to kind of talk about another camera that I picked up. I mentioned it before in a previous video, but I just figured I'd actually kind of talk about this. This is the Minolta Hi-Matic AF-2. This thing is a strange little camera. This is an oddity, to me at least. And in using it, I've kind of grown to really like it in some ways. In other ways, I don't love it. But to me, it's the kind of 80s equivalent of like a bridge camera. Somewhere in between a point and shoot and a manual settings camera. To go over some of the features, it's got a prime 38mm f2.8 lens, so not quite a 35 like the Yashica T4. It's just a fixed lens, no zooming, not quite as wide as the 35 like I said, not like the Pentax point and shoots that came later that had really long zoom lenses on it. It's got a manual ISO. It doesn't read DX codes like modern point and shoots or more modern point and shoots, so you have to set the ISO yourself. The ISO only goes up to 400, and you set it by turning this little wheel here. It is autofocus, and it has an infrared autofocus. Kind of strangely, again, point and shoots later on would wind the film for you. This is all manual. This is manual film advance, manual film winder. Yeah, just want to go through some of the history and talk about this. This was released in 1981. It was part of Minolta's Hi-Matic series. It landed in a period of technological transition in the camera industry. It was kind of between those classic metal-bodied rangefinders like the Leicas and the new wave of plastic automatic point and shoots like this one or the Yashica T4, things like that. It's somewhere in technological limbo. Looks to the past with this rangefinder design, and it's a big body and it's nice to hold in the hand, but it's obviously bigger than later point and shoots that were very pocketable. But even though it kind of looks older, it's pointing towards the future with some of its features. It had this strange mix of automation and manual elements. Autofocus, auto exposure, but you have to manually advance the film with the lever, manually rewind it. Its ISO range was limited to from 25 to 400. Top shutter speed was 1/430th of a second, which is really odd. It's kind of a camera with an identity crisis. It automated enough for your dad to use on vacation, but you still have to wind it manually, so it's still got those little manual touches. It's well intentioned, it's a little dorky, and it's designed for family memories. I mean, they literally said that in the advertising. It shares some core DNA with modern digital bridge cameras. Those cameras feature a fixed non-interchangeable lens, and they have a lot more automation, obviously, to make photography really accessible. So this was an autofocus, good, solid, fixed prime lens, but you don't buy new lenses. You're not buying the camera and the lens. You just buy this. This is one self-contained photographic tool, which for the consumer is great. Despite its fixed lens, the soul of this camera is pure point and shoot. Almost no manual controls beyond the setting the ISO right here on the front. The photographer cedes all creative control for the sake of simplicity. It's lightweight, it's plastic, it's pretty compact, not as compact as later cameras, obviously. This one's a bit wider, as you can tell. So I took this shooting, some friends and I went down to Central East Side in Portland. We went down to a vintage mall, and then we continued down to the Taylor Electric building, which is now a graffiti park with a bunch of really cool murals. And I just recently got the pictures back, so I was really surprised, delightfully surprised, by the quality of the pictures from this camera. For being a fixed plastic lens, I think, maybe plastic and glass elements, the quality of the pictures from this camera, really surprisingly good. This was a camera for the moments that matter, as the marketing said. It was designed for people who wanted to capture a Christmas card photo, not for someone who's trying to be a photographic artist. You can't choose your focal length, you can't choose your shutter speed, but working within those limitations sometimes breeds really excellent art, so who's to say? It was like the Huey Lewis's sports album of cameras. It's incredibly popular, it was straightforward, and truly of its time. 1981 when this came out, this was high tech. It uses an active infrared autofocus system where it would fire an invisible beam of infrared light to judge distance. And if you're out of focus or using low light, it beeps. Series of beeps when you were too close to your subject, and a continuous beep to tell you the light was too low, and that meant you could use the flash. And the onboard flash, little pop-up flash here, I find it to be excellent. I love it. I love that it's there. I can just pop it up when I know it's going to be too low light, and then just close it back down when I don't need it or don't think I need it. Camera basically has Terminator vision. It shoots out an infrared beam to lock onto its target, and if you messed up, it would beep at you. It's less a gentle selection and more, hey, I'm not taking the picture until you back up. When it was new, this camera sold for about $250. And for a long time, it was almost forgotten. It's a cheap camera, but in more recent times, its popularity and price have gone up, especially on the secondhand market. When I was just down at Memory Den Vintage Market, I saw this for sale, I think for $150. So, you know, is it perfect? Is it great? Is my copy perfect? No, my copy is actually broken. The viewfinder right there is just like a crack in the plastic, and it moves around. But you don't really need that. It's fine. It's a perfect example of a camera that was basic but not forgettable. It's not gonna win any awards, but it's kind of a testament to an underdog spirit. It's reliable, it's quirky, it's lovable, and in its own way, it was a bridge from one photographic era to the next. It's not an SLR or a classic rangefinder like a Leica or a Canonet or something like that. And it's not a full automatic point and shoot. There's some level of thought that you have to put in here to make it work. Currently in here I have a roll of bulk rolled black and white that is close to expiration, I believe. So I am able to, with this camera, overexpose to hopefully get a good amount of detail out of the expired film, or older film. Alright, future Charlie here. I'm butting in because I'm editing the video and I just told you about this bulk rolled film. So I told you I went down to that Memory Den vintage market, and I picked this up. This is, look at this roll. I mean, this is old Agfa film roll. For I don't even know. Was it ISO 40 ASA? Doesn't even say ISO. So somebody clearly just had this old canister. I put the film in the Minolta. I shot that, all the B-roll, over in Barron's Woods like I usually do. And then I went away for a few days. I didn't touch it. I thought it was wound up. Or maybe I was on the last frame or something. It was still in the camera. I had to check it. I didn't want to just be firing off cameras or pictures. But when I opened it, the canister was empty. All the film was on the take-up spool on the other side. So I don't think we'll be getting any pictures back from that. And that's just a little, reminder, or a little testament to, you're buying bulk rolled film from a vintage market, from a seller you don't know, be careful and be gentle with it. This film is, I don't think it's the problem of the film itself. The film feels like a nice thick stock. It's not going to tear or rip easily. I think literally, like the tape that he put on the back, I don't know if you can kind of see that, it just kind of dried up. I don't know how long it was in there, or how old the film is, or any of that. So it is what it is. Just another thing to know and to remember. If you're learning something, you're always going to find those little things that go wrong, and this just happens to be one of those. But now I've got some fried film to play with, and I guess a roll to practice with. I don't know. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. There are no pictures from that woods B-roll shooting section. Have a nice day. Back to the video. I really love it, and despite having the Yashica T4, all these other Pentax point and shoots, or a bunch of other just point and shoots in general, I find myself reaching for this one because it's a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to handle. It looks kind of more like a camera, I guess. I don't know. It's not as small. I love the winding action. I'll say the shutter is not my favorite shutter sound I've ever heard. It's like a little wind-up toy rather than a nice, satisfying click or slap. It's kind of a buzz. I like that even if it wants me to use the flash, I can choose not to. I can just turn it on and off that easy. No problem. I like that it tells me when there's low light or when it's out of focus. And I like that I can manually set the ISO so I can overexpose or underexpose film to my heart's content. I don't have to play by the rules of the DX code or the automatic ISO point and shoot cameras that came later. and it's kind of less of a commitment. It's not as heavy or as bulky as bringing, you know, a full DSLR setup. As much as I love this camera, my Pentax ME Super, my favorite camera of all time, sometimes I don't want to bring all this and worry about focus and, you know, light as much, because Pentax ME Super doesn't have a flash, but this does. Like I said, I'm not sure I'm going to use this for any photographic projects, but to have for a little point and shoot that's something other than the norm, it's quirky and silly and funny looking and sounds like a wind-up toy, but that's a camera. Have you used this camera? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Please let me know in the comments. You know, I know it's not for everybody, but it's kind of worked its way into my heart. Kind of the backstory about this camera. This is actually my mom's neighbor's camera when she was younger. And the neighbor gave it to my mom later on, I think when my mom went to England to have a camera to take pictures with. So this took a lot of pictures of me as a child, things like that. And I was up at my mom's house for my birthday, and I was looking for a paperclip in my mom's desk, and this was buried deep in the drawer of the desk. And, you know, it still works. I put fresh batteries in it, and it just turned right on, and it works totally fine as far as I can tell. So anyway, guys, that's the Minolta Hi-Matic AF-2. And like I said, I've just been taking around to different places and taking pictures with it, and I like it. I like using it. So, all right, have a good one.